Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Coins. Have you ever checked your old pennies? You could be holding a wheat penny worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. The wheat penny, minted from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most searched coins by collectors worldwide. Rare dates like the 1909 SVDB, 1914D, and 1955 double die can turn an ordinary coin into a life-changing treasure. Always look for mint marks under the date. That tiny letter could make your penny extremely valuable. So before you spend that old coin, take a closer look. It might just be worth a fortune in today's coin market. First up, this coin carries both historical and monetary value that attracts coin collectors and treasure hunters around the world. The 1944 penny was minted during World War II, a time when the US Mint made unique changes to coin compositions, and that's what makes this coin so special today. Most 1944 1-cent coins were made of copper or bronze, just like the earlier wheat pennies from 1909 to 1942. However, in 1943, the US Mint switched to steel coated with zinc due to wartime copper shortages. By 1944, copper returned, but there's an interesting twist. A small number of 1944 pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover 1943 steel planchets, creating the ultra-rare 1944 steel penny. This error turned the ordinary 1944 penny into one of the most valuable coins in American history. Collectors are always searching for these rare 1944 steel cents. Only a few dozen are known to exist, and each can sell for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on its condition. One example sold for over $200,000 at auction. So if you have a 1944 penny, it's worth checking whether it sticks to a magnet. If it does, you might be holding one of the rarest coins ever made. The common 1944 copper penny, though not as rare, still has value depending on its mint mark and condition. There are three main versions: the 1944 no mint mark from Philadelphia, the 1944D from Denver, and the 1944S from San Francisco. Each mint produced millions of coins, but the exact number and the surviving quality can greatly affect value. A typical 1944 penny in circulated condition may be worth only a few cents to a few dollars, but uncirculated or red-toned examples can fetch much higher prices. Collectors love the 1944 penny because it represents the end of the wartime coinage experiment and a return to traditional materials. The design by Victor David Brenner is one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage history. The front features a bust of Abraham Lincoln with the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1944. The reverse side displays two wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the country name United States of America, along with the Latin motto E Pluribus Unum. This simple yet powerful design has made the Lincoln wheat penny a classic collectible for generations. The 1944 version, especially when found in mint state red condition, shows off the beautiful luster and craftsmanship of mid-century American coinage. Many collectors search rolls, jars, and old collections hoping to find a bright red example that has survived the decades untouched. For those who are new to coin collecting, the 1944 penny is often one of the first coins they encounter because it's relatively common yet full of history. It's an excellent entry point into understanding mint marks, grading, and coin composition. Even if your 1944 penny isn't worth thousands, it still holds sentimental and educational value. Every scratch and mark tells a story of circulation during the 1940s, when the world was at war and the American economy was rapidly changing. If your 1944 penny has a D or S mint mark, check carefully under the date. Sometimes minting errors occurred, like doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These small mistakes can increase the coin's value dramatically. Some collectors have found pennies with clear doubling on the lettering or mint marks that were punched twice. Such variations make these coins stand out and can turn a regular penny into a rare collectible. Another interesting feature of the 1944 1-cent coin is its metal composition. Most were made from recycled shell casings collected from World War II battlefields, giving the coin a deeper historical connection. Many people refer to these as shell case cents. So when you hold a 1944 penny, you're not just holding a piece of copper, you're holding a piece of history that was literally forged from the remnants of war. When examining your 1944 penny, look for color variations described by collectors as brown, red-brown, or full red. Red coins have the highest collector demand because they retain their original mint luster. Even small differences in color or surface quality can mean a big difference in price. The rarest examples with brilliant red color and perfect surfaces can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars among dedicated collectors. There are also rumors and stories surrounding the 1944 steel penny that continue to spark curiosity. Many people check their old coin jars hoping to find that silver gray coin that looks slightly different. Remember, the regular 1944 copper penny will not stick to a magnet, but the steel penny will. If you ever find one that sticks, it's worth professional authentication because these coins are so rare that even counterfeits have appeared over the years. Collectors and historians agree that the 1944 1-cent coin represents more than just small change. It's a symbol of resilience, history, and American craftsmanship. From the copper shell casings of soldiers in battle to the millions of coins that pass through everyday hands, the 1944 penny connects us directly to the people and stories of that era. Today, interest in the 1944 penny continues to grow. With social media, coin channels, and online auctions, more people are discovering that a simple 1-cent coin could be worth far more than its face value. Whether you're a serious numismatist or just someone checking old coins, the 1944 penny is a must-know coin. If you're examining your own collection, keep your 1944 pennies in a safe, dry place and avoid cleaning them. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce the value. Natural toning and patina are signs of authenticity and age, which many collectors prefer. Always handle your coins by the edges to preserve the details and finish. The thrill of coin collecting lies in discoveries like these. Every 1944 penny you find could have a story behind it. Perhaps it was used in wartime America, carried in someone's pocket during a moment of history, or passed down through generations. Holding a 1944 1-cent coin is like holding a time capsule from the 1940s, a reminder of both economic challenges and national pride. Next up, the 1945 Lincoln 1-cent coin was minted during the final year of World War II. The nation was in transition from wartime production back to peacetime economy, and coins from this period represent the resilience and strength of the American people. The coin features the classic Lincoln wheat design, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see the portrait of President Lincoln facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" on the left, and the year 1945 on the right. The reverse shows two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum across the top. The 1945 wheat penny was struck at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while the Denver pieces have a small D under the date, and the San Francisco coins feature an S. These mint marks play a key role in determining the rarity and value of each penny. In total, more than 1 billion 1945 wheat pennies were minted, making it a common coin overall, but within this large mintage, certain high-grade examples and error coins have become incredibly valuable to collectors today. Now let's talk about the composition. The 1945 1-cent coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, part of the traditional bronze alloy used for Lincoln cents before 1943 and after 1944. The war years saw the famous 1943 steel cent, but by 1945 the mint had returned to copper-based coins because the war metal restrictions had ended. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures 90 millimeters in diameter. Over time, these coins can develop beautiful natural tones, from bright red to deep brown, which also affect their collector grade and value. In circulated condition, most 1945 pennies are only worth a few cents. But when preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition, their value can climb significantly. A bright red, fully lustrous 1945 Lincoln wheat penny can sell for several dollars or even hundreds of dollars depending on its condition and mint mark. For instance, a 1945 S penny in pristine MS-67 red grade can fetch over $1,000 in the open market. Similarly, coins with strong strikes, sharp details, and clean surfaces often attract competitive bids from serious collectors. Error varieties make the 1945 1-cent coin even more exciting. Some rare examples show double die obverse errors, where the date, letters, or Lincoln's features appear slightly doubled. These doubled die pennies are extremely collectible, especially when the doubling is clear on Liberty or the date 1945. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, lamination errors, and clipped planchette varieties that make certain 1945 pennies one of a kind. If you ever find a 1945 penny with strange marks or a misaligned design, it's worth examining carefully. Some rare errors can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. Collectors often focus on the color designation when grading these coins: red, red-brown, or brown. A red coin means it retains almost all of its original mint luster and copper brilliance, while brown coins show darker tones from oxidation. Red coins are always more valuable, especially in high grades. The challenge is finding a 1945 penny that has stayed bright and untouched for decades, as copper naturally darkens over time. When you look deeper into the 1945 Lincoln cent, it's more than just metal, it's a piece of history. These coins circulated through the hands of Americans during a defining time, when soldiers were returning home, factories were shifting from weapons to consumer goods, and the country was entering a new era of prosperity. Holding one in your hand feels like holding a small artifact from 1945 America, a year full of change, hope, and victory. For anyone starting a coin collection, the 1945 penny is a perfect entry point. It's affordable, easy to find, and comes with many interesting variations. Collectors often build complete sets of Lincoln wheat pennies, from 1909 to 1958, and the 1945 issue plays a key part in that iconic series. Many coin enthusiasts look for fully read uncirculated examples, which are harder to find and more valuable. Some even try to assemble complete sets by mint mark, the 1945, 1945D, and 1945S coins, all in high grade. It's also important to preserve these coins properly. If you have a shiny 1945 penny, handle it carefully by the edges, avoid touching the surface, and store it in a dry place or a coin holder. Moisture and air can cause copper to tarnish, reducing its value over time. For collectors, maintaining the coin's luster and original condition can make a big difference in long-term value. Let's take a closer look at the mintage figures. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion 1945 pennies, making it the largest portion of the total. The Denver Mint produced around 266 million, and the San Francisco Mint made about 181 million. While these numbers seem huge, high-grade survivors are much fewer today. Many were lost, damaged, or spent repeatedly over decades. That scarcity in pristine condition adds to the allure for collectors searching for the finest known examples. If you ever come across a roll of old wheat pennies, make sure to check every 1945 coin closely. Look for those with strong details, bright red color, and no signs of wear. Even a small difference in condition can multiply its value. A 1945 penny that looks ordinary might actually be a rare double die or high-grade coin worth hundreds of times its face value. In the world of numismatics, coins like the 1945 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny remind us that even the smallest denomination can carry big stories and surprising value. Whether you collect for passion, history, or investment, this coin continues to captivate collectors around the world. It connects us to America's past, celebrates craftsmanship, and represents a period of great change in the nation's history. So, next time you see a 1945 wheat penny, don't overlook it. Study its details, the mint mark, the luster, the condition, and any unique traits. That one small coin could be a hidden gem in your collection. Many collectors have found treasures right in their pocket change or old jars, simply by paying attention to the details. Next up, the 1959 1-cent coin from the United States is one of the most iconic coins in American history, and it holds a special place in the world of numismatics. This coin marked the beginning of a new era for the Lincoln penny, as it was the very first year the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side. Collectors and coin lovers around the world consider the 1959 penny a historic piece that bridges the classic wheat design and the modern era of the memorial reverse. Let's dive into everything you need to know about the 1959 1-cent coin, from its history and design details to mint marks, production, metal composition, and the potential value these coins can reach in today's coin market. Even though millions of these coins were minted, some rare varieties and high-grade examples can be worth far more than 1 cent today. The 1959 penny was struck at two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia coins do not carry a mint mark, while the Denver coins have a small D mint mark located just below the date. In 1959, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 609 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck more than 1.2 billion pennies. That's an enormous mintage, making this coin very common in circulation for decades. However, despite the high numbers, collectors still search for specific varieties, high-grade conditions, and errors that can turn a simple 1-cent coin into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The coin's obverse, or front side, features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait has been used since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the 1959 penny, the inscriptions include "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to his left, and the year 1959 to the right. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparro, displays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., replacing the classic wheat ears that had appeared on the back of Lincoln cents from 1909 through 1958. The reverse design includes the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the denomination 1 cent prominently below the memorial. If you look closely with a magnifier, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a small but amazing detail for such a tiny coin. The metal composition of the 1959 Lincoln cent is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The coin weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 90 millimeters. The high copper content gives the coin a rich reddish tone when uncirculated, which fades to brown as it ages or circulates. Collectors often grade these coins based on their color, red, red-brown, or brown, which can significantly affect their market value. Now let's talk about value. Most circulated 1959 pennies are still worth only face value, but uncirculated or high-grade examples can bring in much more. A typical uncirculated 1959 penny may be worth between 10 cents and $1, depending on its condition. But the true excitement lies in the rare, error, and high-grade coins. For instance, in pristine mint state condition, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, the coin's value can jump into the tens or even hundreds of dollars. Some of the most valuable examples ever sold at auction include perfectly preserved 1959 D Lincoln Memorial cents with blazing red luster, fetching prices of over $1,000. There is also an interesting and controversial variety associated with this coin, the so-called 1959 D wheat reverse penny. This coin supposedly features the old wheat ears design on the reverse, even though 1959 was the first official year of the memorial reverse. The authenticity of that coin has been debated for decades, with some experts believing it was a mint error or pattern coin, while others think it might have been altered after production. Either way, it has become a legendary mystery in the world of coin collecting and added even more fascination to the 1959 penny story. Collectors often focus on coins with strong strikes, minimal blemishes, and bright red color. Coins stored properly in dry, cool environments can maintain their luster for decades. When looking through your change or old coin rolls, always pay attention to the color and condition. You never know when you might find a gem hiding among ordinary cents. It's also worth noting that proof versions of the 1959 Lincoln cent were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These proof coins were made specifically for collectors using specially polished dies, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. Around 1.1 million proof sets were produced in 1959, and today these proof pennies are prized additions to many collections. A flawless proof example with deep cameo contrast can reach impressive prices, sometimes selling for over $100 depending on grade and eye appeal. From a historical perspective, the 1959 penny represents more than just a small piece of copper. It symbolizes America's post-World War II era, a time of growth, innovation, and national pride. The switch from the wheat design to the Lincoln Memorial reflected the nation's evolving identity and its desire to honor both its history and progress. For that reason, the 1959 Lincoln cent remains an enduring favorite among both casual coin finders and serious numismatists. If you ever come across a 1959 penny in your pocket change, take a closer look before spending it. Check for that D mint mark, look for any doubled features on the letters or numbers, examine the surfaces for any unusual marks or cracks, and note the color. Even though millions were minted, exceptional coins can still stand out and hold surprising value. Some error types that might appear include die cracks, off-center strikes, or double dies, all of which can turn an ordinary penny into a small treasure. Today, as collectors look back on over 6 decades of the Lincoln Memorial design, the first-year 1959 issue continues to gain interest. It marks a major milestone in the timeline of U.S. coinage, connecting 2 eras of American design and craftsmanship. Whether you're a beginning collector searching through rolls or an experienced numismatist analyzing high-grade coins under magnification, the 1959 1-cent coin from the United States is a must-have for any collection. Remember that coin collecting is not just about monetary value, it's about history, art, and the stories each coin tells. The 1959 penny tells the story of transition, craftsmanship, and enduring national pride. Holding one in your hand is like holding a small piece of 20th century America. A coin that has survived generations, traveled through countless hands, and continues to inspire fascination among those who appreciate the beauty of U.S. currency. Now we will explore the 1982 penny holds a special place because it was the year when the United States Mint changed the composition of the 1-cent coin. Before 1982, the Lincoln cent was made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But in 1982, due to the rising cost of copper, the mint made a crucial decision to switch to a copper-plated zinc coin. The new cents were made of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This transition created one of the most complex and collectible years in the entire Lincoln cent series, with multiple varieties, mint marks, and small details that can make a huge difference in value. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. During 1982, both types of pennies, copper and zinc, were minted. That means there are 7 different varieties of the 1982 penny. Collectors often refer to them as 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, and the same 4 variations with the Denver mint mark, the 1982D large date copper, 1982D small date zinc, and 1982D large date zinc. However, the 1982D small date copper is one of the rarest and most famous modern Lincoln cents known to exist. The story of how these coins came about adds even more mystery and excitement. In early 1982, the mint was still using copper planchets. As the year went on, they started minting with zinc planchets coated in copper. Because both metals were used during that transition, collectors today can find 1982 pennies that look similar but have completely different metal compositions. You can even test which type you have. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. That small difference can mean a world of value. Many people today are still searching for the 1982D small date copper cent. This coin is a true rarity because it wasn't supposed to exist. The Denver Mint was supposed to have fully switched to zinc planchets by the time small date dies were being used. But a few copper planchets seem to have slipped through the system, creating an ultra-rare error coin. Only a few authentic examples have ever been confirmed, and they have sold for thousands of dollars at auction, some fetching well over $15,000 or more depending on condition and certification. Imagine finding one of those in your change. Collectors love the challenge of identifying 1982 pennies. The large date versus small date difference can be seen in the size and shape of the numerals. The easiest way to tell is to look at the 2 in the date. On a small date, the top of the 8 is even with the 2, and the numbers appear thinner and more delicate. On a large date, the numbers are thicker and more rounded. If you want to know what you have, simply place your penny under magnifying glass or coin loop and compare the date carefully. Now let's talk about value. While most 1982 pennies are still worth face value, just 1 cent, there are certain varieties and conditions that can command premium prices. A regular 1982 copper large date penny in uncirculated condition can be worth anywhere from 20 cents to a few dollars depending on grade. The small date copper variety, especially in mint state condition, can bring several dollars as well. Zinc versions, because they corrode more easily, are often less desirable unless they are in pristine condition or come from sealed mint sets. However, the big money comes from the rare errors and special finds. As mentioned, the 1982D small date copper cent is the holy grail. But there are also 1982 pennies with double dies, off-center strikes, and transitional errors where copper and zinc planchets were mixed. These error coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors and treasure hunters still check every 1982 penny they find, hoping to uncover one of these valuable errors that slipped through the mint's production lines. It's fascinating to think that a small, ordinary coin you might overlook in your pocket could be worth a fortune. That's why coin collecting remains such an exciting hobby. The 1982 Lincoln cent reminds us that details matter. Even the tiniest difference in metal content, weight, or lettering can change everything. Over the years, the 1982 penny has gained a strong reputation in the coin community. It has inspired countless videos, articles, and discussions among numismatists. Beginners often start their collecting journey with the 1982 cent because it teaches them how to recognize varieties, weigh coins, and understand the minting process. It's a coin that combines history, economics, and mystery, all in one small piece of metal. Let's take a moment to reflect on the historical context of 1982. The United States was going through economic changes, inflation pressures, and rising commodity prices. The price of copper had become so high that it cost more than a cent to produce each penny. That led to the decision to change the composition to cheaper zinc. The mint's move was controversial at the time, but it ended up saving millions of dollars in production costs. Today, every penny since mid-1982 has been made with zinc at its core. Interestingly, many collectors prefer the older copper cents because they have a heavier feel, richer color, and better long-term durability. Zinc cents tend to corrode, bubble, and discolor over time. If you've ever seen a modern penny that looks rough or eaten away, that's the zinc showing through under the copper plating. Copper pennies, on the other hand, can last for decades or even centuries without losing their beauty. Because of that, many collectors hoard pre-1982 pennies for their copper content. Each copper cent contains about 2 to 3 cents worth of copper metal, depending on market prices. Though it's illegal to melt them down for profit, collectors still set them aside, waiting for the day when regulations might change. The 1982 penny stands right at that boundary. It's the bridge between the classic copper era and the modern zinc era. When we talk about grading and condition, mint state examples of the 1982 penny can really stand out. Coins graded MS65 or higher can bring impressive prices at auction. Proof coins made in San Francisco in 1982 also attract collector interest because of their mirror-like finish and sharp details. If you happen to find a proof 1982 small date copper cent, that's something worth holding on to. Beyond the technical details, the 1982 penny represents the story of adaptation and change. The US Mint had to innovate to reduce costs while maintaining quality and consistency. For collectors and historians alike, it symbolizes the economic realities of its time. So next time you come across a 1982 penny, take a closer look. Hold it under light, feel its weight, and maybe even weigh it on a small scale. You might have a zinc coin, or you might have a copper one. You might even be holding a rare variety that could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. That's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know what hidden treasure is sitting right in your hand. As collectors continue to search for the 1982D small date copper cent, it remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in American coinage. Every year, new discoveries are made, new varieties are confirmed, and old coins are re-examined with modern technology. Some experts believe there are still undiscovered 1982 transitional errors out there, waiting to be found by an observant collector.